Star Wars 7x7, episode 1832 today. 5 things you did not know about Darth Maul. Yeah, the guy who got sliced in half in The Phantom Menace. Well, some stuff about his early days before we met him in The Phantom Menace have come to light. Have been to light for a while, and I am sharing them here with you today. Let's go. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode where we're going to talk about a few things that you might not have known about Darth Maul. This comes courtesy of the Darth Maul standalone comic book series. There were 5 issues that came out a while back. And I'm going to summarize generally, but through the lens of things that you did not know about Darth Maul. This takes place before The Phantom Menace and before the big reveal of the Sith to the Jedi. So as you can imagine, they are still trying to, keep themselves secret. And the first thing to know about Maul is that he's really impatient about this to the point where he is basically baiting the Jedi into discovering him, like following Jedi around randomly when he sees them on Coruscant, just kind of being, a ghost spy kind of thing. And Jedi are going, something cold around here. This is weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. And like trying to find what the source of this strange feeling is and not being able to find it. And this is, of course, much to Palpatine's chagrin, who is like, look, if you let them know about what's going on and that the Sith are back before I'm ready, then you are going to be in for it, right? Basically. And so the second thing that you may not know about Maul is that to try to let off some steam, Palpatine tolerates Maul going on hunting expeditions. And one of the hunting expeditions is shown where he actually goes to the planet where the Rathtars are. The Rathtars, Taunt, where Han and Chewie got their Rathtars that we saw in The Force Awakens. Well, he hires people to flush out the Rathtars, which of course doesn't go very well for the people flushing out the Rathtars. They're like, some rich hunter doesn't want to, go out on the hunt. He just wants people to flush him out for him. Well, yeah, that might be kind of right in its way, but this is how he's letting off steam, by playing with Rathtars. And because Rathtars are apparently pack hunters, yeah, that becomes a difficult proposition, but not necessarily too difficult for somebody who is versed in the dark side of the Force as Maul is. And that actually kind of leads into a third thing. Maul is apparently rich, stacked. Whether this money is coming from Palpatine, whether he has, sources, or Sidious, I should say, in this case, whether he has access to sources of funds through Palpatine/Sidious that are enormous and immense, or whether the Sith have been socking it away based on their partnership with the Trade Federation and other folks, whatever it is, Maul has apparently got mad stacks of cash, because at one point he is able to hire bounty hunters to help him out with the situation and say, yeah, the money means nothing to me. That's why I'm paying you such an exorbitant fee. So yeah, don't even bother talking to me about money. I'm loaded. All right, so a fourth thing we find out about Maul is that defiance apparently is okay in its way. So even though he defies Palpatine, this is apparently one of those that's how it goes in the dark side of the Force. We know that the Sith are going to be defiant. That's part of the dark side of the Force. Wink! And so he's able to get away with going off on a mission that, as he's thinking about it, he's like, yeah, if my master finds out about this, the punishment will be severe. If I screw this up, the punishment will be severe. But he goes about it, and of course Palpatine finds out about it in the end, and he's like, yeah, well, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, because you're a Sith, and Sith are defiant, so good for you. You didn't get caught. Everything's good. And so it's a real backwards way of thinking, I guess, with these Sith, but there you go. And what Maul ultimately finds out about himself in this miniseries is that it isn't so much his hatred of the Jedi or his desire for revenge that really drives him, but he's been asked to wait for so long, to be patient for so long, that the anticipation and the excitement are what are really driving him now. And he gets the opportunity to kind of take the edge off of that anticipation and excitement in this series by actually getting his first Jedi kill. So this series actually reveals the first time that Maul actually gets to kill a Jedi. It's a Padawan. And, yeah, okay, so it's not a full Jedi Knight, a Jedi Master, or anything like that. But the taste of a first kill is pretty intoxicating to Maul and is going to be a thing that helps him kind of keep his cool, at least for a little bit longer, until Palpatine is ready to reveal his grand machinations and all that stuff. And that Padawan's name is Eldra Catis, in case you're interested or want to know the little bit of trivia. And in the process, the bounty hunters that I mentioned that he hires, Cad Bane and Aurra Sing among them, who we met in the Clone Wars cartoon series. But they don't know that he is Darth Maul. They just know he's some crazy Zabrak guy because he can't show his lightsaber when he's fighting with anyone because then he reveals himself as a Sith. So yeah, that's kind of an intriguing aspect of this thing as well. And there's one other story that's shared in this series that actually takes place during The Phantom Menace, and I will share that with you after the break. Stay tuned. This episode is brought to you by Constant Contact, the premier email marketing solution for small businesses and organizations. I've used their service since 2003, and over the past decade and a half, I've watched them evolve, make the product simpler, more powerful, easy to use, and do everything that they can to help train people to use the product more effectively and for it to work with other forms of marketing like social media, for example. So check out sw7x7.com/email to learn more about Constant Contact and start a free trial. Once again, that is sw7x7.com/email for a free trial. Welcome back. So there's kind of a cute, younger targeted story within the Darth Maul series that focuses on those little probe droids that he sent out looking for Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Padme and Anakin and Jar Jar in The Phantom Menace, right? Well, one of them apparently ended up getting roped into rescuing a droid that had been trapped in a hole and had a boulder fallen on it, and all sorts of misadventures happen with it, and his sandcrawler gets destroyed, and ultimately one of those little secret droids ends up staying on Tatooine. So Maul only goes home with 2 of those 3 secret droids, which I thought was kind of interesting, but it was a fun little story nonetheless. But overall, those are a bunch of things that you did not know necessarily about Darth Maul unless you checked out this particular Darth Maul series, and I hope whether you did or didn't, that you still found this collection of things you might not have known at least a little fascinating. And that is going to do it for today's episode of the show here. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you, wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.